I've had the opportunity and the joy of being able to purchase a 1963 Ford Galaxie 500 Mayberry squad car. This thing is absolutely beautiful. The interior, as you can see, is absolutely gorgeous. I have it set up so that it just looks spectacular at car shows. I want it to be, a display of a classic car, but also I want it to be kind of like a little mini museum of the Mayberry Andy Griffith Show. It really is just such a great thing to own. As you can see, the Sheriff of Mayberry, that's an original squad car emblem. And as you can see, as I'm walking around it a bit, I had parked it here at a local cemetery. It was just a gorgeous day. So I pulled it over to the lawn and just kind of went around it. And, these Fords in the 1963, 64s, they were looked at as muscle cars. They were speed cars back then, but they were huge and they were not light. But Ford had it going, that's for sure. And one of my favorite looks is the 63. The show, the Andy Griffith Show, ran from 1960 to 1968, and there were 8 different cars used. Of course, the 63 was used in the 1963 showing. Ford would give the show a new Ford Galaxie every year. They would have it painted, and they would take it back at the end of the year and give it back to the dealer and give them a new car. So there was a wide variety of these vehicles that were used year to year. And they did this for the purpose, really, of advertising. And as you can see, that beautiful Sheriff Mayberry car, that's an original. Just absolutely gorgeous. But the show really took these vehicles on dusty roads, and the black on them was not a nice, beautiful black that you see on this car, shiny, but it was rather a flat black because they were used all over dusty roads. And the one big thing that back then when it came to 1963, 64, 65 was that getting men to the moon, getting men into space, the whole issue of NASA and rocketry and all that was big. And so when you look at this vehicle, they named everything and made it look kind of like a rocket. It was first of all called the Galaxie, like it's otherworldly. And then if you look at the rear end here, you can see that those 2 back lights look like the propulsion centers of a rocket ship. That's the look that they were going for. That was a big thing back in the early 60s. And this is a very large car. They really used these as racing cars back in the day, which is kind of hard to believe because these were the first muscle cars. They're so large. And do they ride well? Absolutely. But as race cars, they were kind of like big tanks on the racetracks. But they handled well. They really, really did. And this car is really, really a beauty. It's got the gumball light and a siren that works and the original look of the emblem for the Mayberry Sheriff's Department. It is well kept. It was purchased in about 1982 by Pritchard Anderson, a neighbor of mine. And it was red when he purchased it. And the goal here was to take this and turn it into a Mayberry squad car. That was the goal, and that's what he did. It's got a 352 engine in it, but boy, is it souped up. It's got all brand new pistons and rods and rings and case-hardened valve system and a police cam. The engine was taken out and redone by a local place in North Tonawanda. The insides are all new, same block and everything. So this car is it's really in great shape. It's almost like the innards are a new part of the engine, and even with that, it's only got 29,000 miles on it. It sat kind of in a barn for about 22, 23 years, Pritchard said. In a sense, it was a barn find, but it was a pretty well-kept barn. It wasn't rusting away and being destroyed in that barn. It was covered well, and it was taken care of to a point for being in that type of environment. But it certainly wasn't kept in a garage in a perfect spot. But really, it really held its own, given the fact that it's a 60-year-old car. That 352 really hauls down the road. Kind of interesting. It's the old carburetor system. Hard to find people that can work with the carburetors anymore. There's only a handful of folks, the oldies that used to work on these kind of vehicles. They're out there. These are easy cars to work on because there's so much room. Everything works absolutely excellent on it. Everything does. So it's in great shape. I display it well at car shows. I want people to get that sense of wonder. I want to bring people back in time.